is you're not alone. None of us are, right? And this is exactly why this summit today exists, right? We'll help you get AI into execution in the right manner, right? So just some quick numbers. Gartner predicts that by the end of 2026, 60% of AI projects lacking AI-ready data will be abandoned, right? And that's a big number. And from our own research at BigStep across 50 production AI systems, we found that 73% of AI projects fail, not because of the models that they were using were bad, but because the data feeding those models was inconsistent. It was stale data, or it was data that was siloed. So tonight we'll show you how to fix all of this. So to have conversations around this, we did not want theorists in this summit today. We wanted true practitioners, people who realize the complexity of enterprise AI and have found a way through it. And we got incredibly lucky to have an amazing panel today with us. So I'll introduce to you the speakers for today's summit. The first with us is Kriti Sinha. Kriti is the Director of Data Science and GenAI at Capgemini, and she's a published author. Kriti has guided some of the most complex GenAI transformations inside global enterprises today. She's the person I would call if I need to understand exactly why a GenAI program is underperforming and what should be done about it. The next speaker I would like to introduce is Alakananda Sahu. Alka, as we call her. Alka is an enterprise AI and cloud leader at Genpact. Genpact runs AI-powered operations for over 100 Fortune Global 500 companies. Alka talks about AI governance at scale. She's going to share a lot of insights with us here today. So Alka will not just be talking about a slide deck. She will actually talk about live operational reality. And the third amazing speaker we have with us is Shreyant Shrikant. Shreyant is a computer scientist specializing in GenAI at Adobe. He works on a platform that processes 5 billion edge interactions daily. So today, Shreyant will talk about what AI infrastructure needs to look like. He'll be speaking from a scale that most of us will never encounter. So here we have three brilliant people, three completely different lenses that they will share with us. And we'll have this one very focused conversation today. So before I get the panelists on board, here's how tonight's AI Summit will work. We're going to start with something that I'm genuinely excited about. Before the panelists start with their individual sessions, all four of us are going to have an open, honest panel conversation for the next 20 to 30 minutes. There will be no slides, no script. That all of what you'll hear will be impromptu. We'll just have real conversations and you'll get real answers to the questions that I know are in your minds right now. I'm going to ask each one of the speakers 2 focused questions each, questions that will cut right through the heart of what enterprise AI leaders are struggling with today. So after we'll be done with this 20 to 30 minutes of panel session, each speaker will go deep dive into their specific areas of expertise across governance, data, and AI engineering. And I would recommend each one of you to be active in this session. Please drop in your questions in the chat throughout this. We'll take those questions up at the end of the summit. Our team is monitoring all those questions. Great. All right. So we have everyone. We have Kriti, Alka, and Shreyant here with us today. All right. Welcome, Kriti, Alka, and Shreyant. Happy to have you here in this summit. Thank you for joining all of us. Alka, I will start with you. So, Alka, we know that at Genpact you're running AI inside live business operations for some of the largest enterprises globally. So, what is one thing that you feel most enterprises are still getting wrong when they try to scale AI?
Hey all, good evening, and thank you, Vidit. To be honest, from what we are seeing across this enterprise programs, right? See, the biggest gap is actually the governance. Okay, and I hope people really follow what I post. It is honestly from a very blunt and straight analysis. What I feel, I put it on pen and paper or the digital media.
Yes, so, have you got tuition?
Sorry, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is. Can somebody?
Thursday tuition होगी, Saturday Sunday छुट्टी होगी.
I think someone's mic is unmuted. Yeah. All right, yeah. So with it, the rightly asked question, right, and the concerns what we are seeing here, where the enterprise is actually getting wrong, right? It's actually a major concern. And what I am seeing, the enterprises are scaling this AI pilots, right? But the problem is without scaling the decision ownership. And see, everyone is building agents. But no one is actually clearly defining who is accountable for the decision for those agents which we are making. And long story short, but adoption, I can say, is scaling, no doubt on that. But structure is not. So this is what is my experience and the takeaway, what I can say based on the enterprise where it is getting wrong. And Kirti or Shreyant, you want to add on, please?
You rightly said, Alka. That's the major issue we are facing, day-to-day problem-solving pattern, and we are following that one, and we are coming out of that.
Thanks, Alka. Yeah, we'll. That's a big problem you shared, and as we progress in today's summit, we'll talk about how those problems can be addressed. I know there are a lot of insights that you yourself will be sharing in your session next. Kriti, over to you. So I know, Kriti, you've guided some of the most complex enterprise GenAI transformations at Capgemini. What is the data-related failure that keeps showing up even in well-resourced and well-intentioned teams? Kriti, you're muted.
Sorry. Just we talked, Alka said, right, that people are missing that governance. And another perspective of that, the most common failure, even in the well-resourced teams, is treating data strategy as an afterthought, right? Teams rush to build GenAI agents on siloed, stale, or inconsistent data, and no model can overcome a broken foundation. When the data layer is not unified, clean, and continuously governed, GenAI simply can't scale or stay reliable.
Absolutely, Kriti. We've seen a lot of AI projects stay at the pilot stage itself, because after working on the pilot or the prototype, the company realizes it does not have the data it needs to actually take that pilot to production.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm sure that in your session you'll go more in depth into how enterprises can address those problems that they face around data. Now, Shreyant, over to you. We know that at Adobe you're building at a scale that most organizations cannot imagine. You have enterprise users globally. So what do you think keeps breaking even in technically strong and well-funded engineering teams?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for that. It's actually a great question, and hello everyone, good evening and good morning. So honestly, something that I have to take on this, I would say that it's not about the models, it's about the data underneath. So here's what I see, like even in a well-funded team, like you have 5 different data sources. You have your CRM system, CRP, you have your event logs, document stores. So a lot of data extremes, like so many to go on. So each one of it has its own schema. So its own identifiers, its own update cadence. So none of them talk to each other natively. So when you put an AI agent on top of that, so an agent that's supposed to make decisions, what is exactly depending on is inconsistent here, because it has a stale and siloed data. So I would say that the stat is that it should keep like every it sort of runs every CTOs up at night. Like 70% of the AI projects fail not because the model was wrong, but because the data feeding the model was broken. So we, I mean, in terms this, right, like we call it as signal fragmentation. So that's exactly the number that's the silent killer for all the enterprise AI.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So you again touched on that foundational problem of data, and yeah, I think all those problems with data governance, ownership, I think all of that all of them come because enterprises and teams are actually treating AI as a technology problem rather than a problem related to operations. And I believe that companies winning are not the ones that use the best models. They're actually companies that have the best systems built around those models. And as we progress further, we'll dive deeper into this. Again, my next question is again to you, Shreyant. What do you think is the single most important infrastructure decision that a CTO needs to make today to be on the right side of the AI native divide in 2028?
Okay, so well, I would say like one decision that I would suggest is invest in your data contract layer before you can invest into your agent layer. Here's why it is, because everyone is racing to build agents right now. So there is multi-agent orchestration, autonomous workflows, all of it. But if you go back and ask yourself, like, what are those agents consuming? If the answer is a batch pipeline, that's a 24-hour old one. So you've already lost it over there, because the CTOs who will be on the right side of future, like maybe 2028 or 2030, are the ones like following a very specific sequence. Like you govern and pilot, then coordinate, operate as an AI native, and then the agents negotiate their own data contracts. So that's how it goes as a sequence.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, building that sequence into how agents collaborate with each other, exchange data is going to be crucial. build multi-agentic workflows that will help organizations succeed. Kriti, over to you again. What do you think technically separates an AI native organization from an AI enabled one? To delve more into it, or one of the areas that you can probably talk about is like within this framework of AI native organizations or AI enabled organizations and how they differentiate with each other. You could also probably talk about how multimodal agents that work on voice, vision, text, across text and documents, right? How do all of them fit into this picture?
Yes, Vidit. When we talk about that AI native organization, they're already they build their system around agents, memory, orchestration, not just standalone models, right? They have already share the context, long-term memory, and multiple agents working together, or the multi-layer agents also, to handle end-to-end tasks. And multi-modal agents, when we talk about specifically voice, vision, and documents, are a core part of it. Right? They are not just a hype. They are already solving real problems in production by letting AI understand and add all kind of inputs, just like human do.
Right. Yeah. So we're increasingly seeing organizations that have built agentic systems across documents and texts expand their use cases across other types of data and interactions like voice and video. I'm sure each one of you are going to talk about some of the use cases around multimodality of AI when you move to your sessions. So Alka, I know governance is an area that you specialize in. So from a governance and cloud native deployment perspective, what do you think the right enterprise stack looks like? What are the observability and MLOps requirements that most teams underestimate when it comes to governance considerations?
Thanks, Vidit. So yeah, so it's a good question actually, and very important. Okay, so from governance lens, right? What I'm seeing, and we are seeing, not I, okay, my apologies. So what we are seeing is actually the enterprise stack is not just about tools. Okay, so it is about actually, I can say, control and accountability. I mean, see, there is a deep meaning, you understood, right? So see, the point here is the most understanding piece is observability. Okay, so not just, see, we know all this log tracking and everything, right? So it is not just logs what we're talking of, right? So, but very important is the decision traceability, right? When you're thinking about, so what decision we are taking, what we are, right? What on what data, on what logs we are observing. So question here is, if I cannot explain why an AI system made a decision, then I can't scale it in an enterprise. That's very simple with it, okay? And so the governance and the MLOps, we will have to build from day one. That's what is my suggestion and my perspective here. And with it, just adding a few more points, as I mentioned, the enterprise stack is not just, the tools, as I mentioned, right, my first line. See, team often underestimate this MLOps, right? I mean, again, right, dripping, these detections, and I know this versioning, the models. I think Shreyant can connect it what I'm trying to say here, and the prompts, right? And and this controlled deployment pipelines, isn't it? But what I'm trying to say is this is very important from a MLOps side, right? And so, long story short, with it, governance, observability, and MLOps, they have to design from day one, not added later. All right?
Absolutely. Yeah, Alka. I think having the right observability in place in AI workflows and products also ensures that the stakeholders of enterprises know how AI is performing. Without observability, stakeholders won't have visibility into how their AI initiatives are performing.
Yeah, because see, once you scale without governance, right? I mean, you don't fix it. You are actually re-architecting it, and eventually, we all know, right, the impact afterwards.
Right. And I think this is also a reason why most of the legislations and regulations that we're seeing come up in the area of AI focuses a lot on observability and governance.
Absolutely.
Great. We'll have to cut our panel discussion short and move to the sessions. Thank you everyone for being part of the panel discussion. I hope you found the perspectives insightful and practical. We'll now move into the individual expert sessions that each one of the panelists here will give. They have each one of our panelists have chosen areas that they specialize in to talk about in our sessions. So here, in these sessions, you'll hear each one of the speakers dive deeper into actionable strategies and real-world enterprise AI implementations. Now, before we begin with these sessions, I encourage you to stay engaged throughout these sessions. Drop your questions in the chat. I see that Amitav is posting some great questions and insights in the chat here. Amitav, we'll share perspectives on all the points that you're posting in the chat here. And yeah, please drop your questions in the chat. And we'll have Kriti start first. And great, over to our moderation team to get Kriti into focus. Kriti, you're good to start.
Yeah. Is it? Let me know once you will be able to see it.
Yeah, Kriti, you should be able to present now.
Yeah. You have given that presenter mode? Yes. Just a minute. I'm just trying to share it as this.
Kriti, are you facing any technical challenges?
Yes, it is not getting shared. Let me just, I'm just trying to wait.
Yes, we can see that you're able to share now.
Yeah. Is it visible now, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Hello, everyone. 1 minute. Vidit, it's not sharing as a presenter, I think, right? Just a minute. Give me 1 minute, right?
Sure, Kriti.
It's not getting here. Vidit, can we start with Alka? If
yeah, Alka, if you're ready, you could go next, and
then I can start.
And we have Kriti start.
No, it's not going.
All right, just allow me a few moments.
So yeah, while Alka starts, so in Alka's session, you learn how large enterprises run AI at scale, how governance and compliance frameworks are built in real environments, and how organizations ensure that AI systems remain reliable, secure, and aligned with business goals. So please stay tuned to Alka's session that's coming up next.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want a confirmation if you guys can see my Zoom sharing.
Yes, Alka, is that your daughter?
Yeah, that's my daughter. Thank you, guys. Okay, so now is my deck visible? I mean,
yes, we can see it.
You know, right? The correlations. Yeah. Okay, so good evening, all. I was expecting that I will add on to Ketli, but probably Ketli need to add on to me. And very, very strict area to talk is about, the governance, right? And guys, this is actually one of the challenge, the next challenge, what I'm talking of on enterprise space, which is not actually, we are talking about capability, okay? And, but to be honest, it is how we actually structure and scale, right? These systems safely. I know safety is a big area right now to talk about, but yeah, getting back to the governance, yes. So let me start with something which is very simple, right? And easy to, get into the context, yeah, and connect with real life on the ground. Across most of the enterprises today, what we are seeing, right? I mean, you'll be seeing AI is everywhere. Even if guys, it's not funny, but yeah, it is funny for me. My dad talks about AI, okay? My mom talks about AI. And anyways, I'm not talking about millions and Gen Zs now. But getting back to the industry, every team is experimenting. Every function is building something. And but when we look at the outcomes, there is a gap. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, AI adoption is scaling. Everybody knows that. We are adopting. But as I mentioned, structure is not. And that is what exactly I want to talk about today. How we move from fragmented experimentation to governed, scalable enterprise AI. All right. So, I'm sorry, I'm just getting to the next slide. Yeah. Okay, so my screen is visible. Yeah. Okay. So the key points here, what I'm trying to make here is, let's look at, what is happening inside the organization, right? Think about our organization, our ecosystems where we are spending the most productive hours and all. Marketing is using one AI tool, isn't it? Everyone's marketing team, CMO's team and all, they're using an AI tool. Sales is using another, something they like, they experimented, they got the license. Finance is automating the workflows. HR is experimenting with co-pilots. And each function is moving forward independently. And individually, it looks like it is progress. But collectively, as an ecosystem, you think, we are creating silos. I think, how many of you agree with that? I mean, you people can just simply raise the hand who are here. Isn't it? We are not creating inconsistencies. And we're also losing control. Where? Again, decision making, which is very important. And if you think about your own organization, right, this is probably already happening. And this is where I want to take you to the next journey, where I want to talk about why this enterprise AI breaks at scale. See, now this leads to 3 patterns we keep seeing, right? You can see, first, automation without governance. We scale the speed without safety. Data is everywhere, but intelligence is nowhere unified. So that is how I want to let you focus on the second part, which is the signal fragmentation. Then the third, which is important, adoption without alignment. We are adopting, no doubt, but are we aligned? Tools are deployed, but not tied to business outcomes. Many of the people, we don't know what we want. What does the business want? We simply like the AI tool, we like the output, we like experimenting, something exciting, let's do it. And when these 3 combine, right, I'm talking about automation without governance, signal fragmentations, and adoption without alignment. Honestly, AI does not scale. AI doesn't fail because of models. It fails because of missing structure. Let me give you a quick example. In one of the enterprise program recently, we have multiple systems which were generating signals independently. And I can talk about the finance, operations, external integrations. Each system was technically correct. There is no problem in any of the systems what we have seen. But the output did not align. So instead of accelerating the decisions, it actually creates confusion. And confusion is everywhere. And the root cause was not technology, as we all know. It was lack of a unified governance layer. Which is why the signal fragmentation became a scaling problem. And what made it worse was leadership had to do manually reconcile decisions. So the real shift we need is not more tools. It is a shift in the mindset. From fragmented AI tools to governance layers. From isolated intelligence to unified intelligence. From experimentation to scale execution. And this is how AI becomes reliable at enterprise scale. That's what is my understanding, and I'm sure about that. So when we are talking about, we are thinking of enterprise AI as a stack here. At the top of the executions, automation agents, co-pilots, what you can see. In the middle, we are seeing the intelligence insight, predictions, and at the foundation, we are seeing the governance ownership, standardization, and compliance. But most organizations try to scale from top, execution, without strengthening the foundation. And we all know if the foundation is wrong, we can fall at any moment. And that's why we break. Things break, ecosystem breaks. Execution scale fast, governance scales slow. We all know the truth. And that's why exactly it gets ignored. In practice, scaling AI requires a structured approach. And that's why I think as a phase one, we should proceed with the assessment. We must, I can say, we understand where you stand or we stand. The next phase could be the pilot, we can say, but with governance and ownership and built in. And the phase three, we should proceed for the deployment, no doubt. We'll have to enable monitoring and we'll have to drive the control. And as rightly said a few minutes back, it is on MLOps. All right. And definitely the phase four, we can proceed with, I can say, creating the internal capabilities and governance councils. So this will ensure AI doesn't just work, it sustains. If I simply, this for the leadership, right? Think in a way, there are, I can see 4 things that matters. Very, very important, guys. Let's say work first. We'll have to define the decision ownership. We'll have to standardize the AI investment criteria, which is very important. We will have to align AI to business outcomes. And we'll have to govern before we scale. That's very important. We'll have to govern. Because this is not just a technology shift, we all know that. It is an organizational shift. If an AI system makes a wrong decision today, most of the organization don't know who is accountable for. It's Alka, it's Vidit, it's Kirti, or it's any one of us. Is the machine? Who is bearing the cost? Who is bearing the impact? And this is not a technology gap, from my understanding. This is a leadership gap. Another example I want to talk to you about, we saw even a small configuration on the decision across the environment. I just have implemented recently. And we started creating confusion across the teams when the ownership and the standards were not clearly defined. But once the governance was aligned, the same system became predictable and scalable. That shift was not technical. Technology, we all know, we are with it, it's not new. But this is structural. And that is where leadership focus becomes critical. And teams were spending more time in aligning that actual deliverable value. So if you take away one thing I can say, AI does not fail because of models. It fails because of missing structure. Execution scales fast. We all know that. Governance scales slow, as I mentioned. But predictability comes from standardization. We all know it is not from automation. And enterprise AI is fundamentally an accountability conversation. So with this, the enterprise that will win with AI are not the ones that move the fastest. They are the ones that build the most reliable systems around AI. They govern smarter. They scale stronger. Thank you.
Thank you, Alka, for sharing those insights and highlighting the importance of governance. Alka, we can again see on screen your daughter. I believe she's become a celebrity for today.
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
So thank you, Alka, for highlighting the importance of governance. I believe governance observability for many engineers is the most boring part to implement when building an AI solution. However, it is only when the time comes to take your AI product to production when you realize how important governance was, and how easy it would have been if governance was considered as a foundation while planning the AI product, rather than having governance as an afterthought. I will now invite Shreyant next. So in Shreyant's session, we will all learn what enterprise scale AI infrastructure really looks like. We learn how to manage massive data and real-time interactions. We all know how important data is to AI systems. In most of the successful AI systems out there, data is actually what forms the moat. So Shreyant will talk about how enterprise scale AI infrastructure really looks like, and how to manage massive data and real-time interactions, and what technology foundations are required to build scalable and future-ready AI systems. Over to you, Shreyant, Shrikant.
Hi, Vidit. Hi, Vidit. Am I audible?
Yes, Shreyant, you're audible.
No, I'm Sukrit actually. I'm Sukrit. I'm one of the audiences. So I read through some of the questions. So I'm one of the AI transformation leader in one of the leading telcos of the world. So I have seen.
I'm sorry, Sukrit. Sorry, Sukrit. I cannot hear you, but Sukrit, we'll have the last few minutes of the session open for questions. I would like to invite Shreyant now to present his session.
Yeah, thank you, Vidit. And yeah, I mean, the previous section from Alka was amazing. Like, she touched base extremely well on the governance side, which is one of the very important aspects for AI. So thank you, Alka. So I'll just present my screen.
And Shreyant, we cannot see you as well, so it'll be great to have your camera on.
Sure. Is it fine now?
Yes, you're good to go.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, so first of all, like, hello everyone. So myself, Shreyant. So I'm currently working as a computer scientist at Adobe. So for the Gen AI. So specifically, we are working on something called Brand Concierge. So Brand Concierge is Adobe's, one of the AI first applications wherein we transform static, digital properties into conversational agentic experiences to the users. So it's powered across all the Adobe experience platforms, so which you might be, or the brands might be using. So my session today is more on the agents in the data stack, and keeping it quite simple, like how exactly your agents are, as intelligent as the data that feeds them. So over the next few minutes, I'm sort of going to show you like why and what is the architecture looks like, and where humans still need to be in the loop, and they were associated to it, which I saw in the chat. Maybe we'll come back to that after my session or end of the session to answer towards it. Yeah, so this is kind of a roadmap. So wherein you see three segments that are presented. First is to break down on the data problem, which we have been talking about since the start of the session. So why enterprises, keep building the agents on the broken foundations. Second thing is like, I'll also let you know what agentic data pipelines look like, when it comes to event-driven self-healing, and how exactly my organization handles, the planetary scale that we also deal with. The third thing is we'll talk about the human in loop layer, which is quite important, where machines must defer to humans, and where humans need to let go. So that is sort of something that will be quite interesting. Okay, first to discuss on the data problem. So this is all about like why enterprises build agents on broken foundations. So if you see here, like so I'll just give you a picture so that we can guarantee like at least 80% of you can recognize. So you have a CR SAP. So you also have Kafka event logs. So Kafka is one of the streaming tools. And so let's say your document sits in S3 or GCS. So it's the storage buckets. And you have IoT or Edge streams that is coming in real time. So the problem is like between these sources and your AI agent, there is what you call it as a fragmentation zone. So it's not a unified schema. It's not a shared identifier. It's not a quality contract, not a data lineage as well. So your AI agent is sitting at, the end of this complete mess, trying to make decisions. And what does it produce? It produces hallucinated insights, which you might be, coming across when you use the day-to-day AI platforms that are there in the market today. And the stale recommendations are obviously a part of it that gets associated, and compliance violations, which is again associated to what Alka brought up on the data governance. So the number that I keep coming back to is around like 73% or 70% of the AI products fail from the data quality's perspective, not because of the issues in the model, So it's from the research that happens across hundreds of enterprise deployments. You notice is most teams don't know what exactly is happening. So the model looks fine. Panel or the leadership or whoever we present down to will be impressed. But when it goes into production, the agents start making decisions on the garbage data. So and no one sort of catches it for certain weeks and then get into fixing it, and all those stuff happens. So what happens to the last 30%? Like what automation always skips? So if you look here, so the standard ETL almost handles like 70% of your data work. So ETL is nothing but extract, transform, and load. It is a part of data engineering. So that's sort of an easy stuff. Like wherein every tool on the market does this well today. And the hard part is back again to that 30% is where is silently die. So if you have the killers that completely take this roadmap into, first is the schema drift. So what do you mean by that? So your upstream source changes happens. Like for example, there is a fake or you call or you name something, but downstream agents don't know is happening. So it on the broken data, and you don't catch it for like a certain period, like for a few days, like let's say 14 days, which is the retention period for the data nowadays in the data platforms as standard. So so this is something that whoever I've worked with happen to see the product, and you all would also get with. Like your customer has a particular customer ID in a CRM, and then the same customer ID will be associated as a different ID in billing, and then you hash it in your support system. So the entity resolution starts failing here. So your agent merges the wrong profiles. Then when you're trying to make personalization decisions, you go to the wrong persons. Again, it's a mess. Sorry. Third thing is on the unstructured data. So 80% of the enterprise PDFs, sometimes your messaging threads as well, or your notes, whichever you take outside your databases. So only 20%. And obviously, the rest. So that is the one process. The last thing is technical staleness. One for every subs schedule. So it varies the data that's 24 hours old. So the world, your customers expect your decisions on this down your agents as well, and what exactly So these things that I would. Sorry, I think I got dropped off.
Yes, Shreyant, you got dropped off. Probably, Shreyant, you can disable your video because I think there is some network issues at your end.
All right, sure. Okay. Is my screen visible before that?
Yes, Shreyant, it is.
Yeah, thank you, Vidit. So, so next is like the agentic data pipelines. So what exactly brings us to the segment? So where let's deep down a little bit on the architecture side. Sorry. So this is a standard architecture that I would like to show. This is like you can take it as a self-healing agentic data pipeline. That is something that I name it up. So basically, if you start on the left, your sources are different sets like APIs, databases, Kafka streams, or whatever it could be. So nothing changes here. Every enterprise has these, maybe all of these or any one of these, obviously. The first layer is going to be the ingest and validate. So you have a schema registry, like let's say a protobuf as an example, or a version contracts. So an ingestion agent will auto-detect the format. Then a validation agent will enforce the contracts in real time. And there'll be a quarantine queue in place where, let's say you have some bad records that don't pass through. They get isolated and they get flagged and logged into a separate location. The next that you see here is the transform and enrich. It's one of the critical areas. This is where you transform the agent, normalizes, and you sort of work on the deduplication side. So here, if you take the entity resolution, that it merges, the different source IDs, and then you happen to work on the feature engineering, both in real time and pre-computed data, and there'll be a quality agent that will run continuously, as an outlier and working on the drift detection for you. Then you get into the intelligence layer. So this is where your data becomes agent ready. So you have vector databases that will work on your semantic search. So few of the examples you can take Pinecone or VV8. Those are highly known in the market today. One of the highly known, and you have knowledge graphs for the entity relationships. Obviously, Neo4j is quite popular there, and you have Neptune. Then you take feature stores that will make your instant decisions. So you have Tecton, you also have Feast, and for real-time cache, you need something that is sub milliseconds of retrieval. That's when you go for Redis, or even memcached. So yeah, and finally that'll be on your consumers. So you have AI agents, you have dashboards, you have ML models, APIs. So all consume. All of these consume a clean, validated, and governed data. If you look into the bar, so it's not a layer that you add later. It runs along with your single stage of queue. Right. So the next thing is on the event-driven versus the batch. This is where the gap happens for the intelligence. So on the left side, you see a traditional batch wherein you see the source change happens at the 0th time, and then it waits for the schedule. Then it adds 1 to 6 hours to it. Then the ETL runs happen. That'll be another 6 to 12 hours, and then you load it to the data warehouse. Again, there'll be another 12 to 24 hours added among it. So the agent is obviously going to query something that is more than 24 hours, which we just saw in the previous slides. And your agent is it's actually a full day behind what exactly we call it as reality. So the schema will obviously start breaking. There won't be any self-repair. So that's exactly how it is going to be. But if you take a look at the right side, so you have event with agents, wherein your source event is at time 0, and you have stream ingestion, which happens in milliseconds, and you have agent validation, which will again happen in like around 50 milliseconds. Then you have a real-time enrichment that will happen under 200 to 300 milliseconds, and then your agent will altogether consume everything within 1 to on a live drift. So the self-healing on failure, the sub-second of freshness, everything is being handled perfectly here. The next thing is like if your agent operates on a 24 data, it is already making wrong decisions. So that is one of the areas where we are making an intelligence gap, obviously. So the next thing is have the you have to experience platform like to go a little bit deep down into what exactly. So the flow is basically these some of the sources that the real-time evaluation at the exact information and post that then have a unified profile which is like all of what do I say? Customer view across the managed. We have around activation and real-time CDP, which is like the optimizer and target for us. So, so if you look into the numbers, like some things that I've highlighted with and we manage it across the entire APP platform. So we get around like approximately billions of edge interactions that processes every single day. Activations that is around trillions per day. We all of the like 200 milliseconds, 5% under 50 seconds, like latency for age segmentation as well. So that you look request came. So basically like people sell the APP service as a stack. So you take EKS, Aurora, the bulkhead pattern the real data system. There are 6 lessons, primary lessons I would say. One is on my register we have been
Sorry, it seems that Shreyant is having some challenges with his network. We will move to the next session really soon. We'll wait for a few seconds to see if Shreyant is able to continue his session from where he got dropped off. Else we'll start with the next session. Hi everyone. So we'll start with the next session right away. Great. All right, we had some technical challenges. Hello everyone, and welcome again. Some of you might have missed the opening session of the summit. So I'll start off by introducing myself. So I'm Vidit, co-founder and CEO of BigStep Technologies. We are an applied AI and digital product engineering company. We've been building technology solutions for enterprises and startups across the US and India for over 18 years now. I want to start with something a little personal because I think it's important that you know where the ideas that I'm going to share today come from. So over the last few years, my team and I have had the privilege of working with clients across industries. So we work with customers in commercial real estate, insurance, healthcare, finance, logistics, and more. So we've been helping these customers not just build and adopt AI, but we've been working with them to engineer AI into the core of how their businesses run. And many of the challenges, many of the things that I'm going to tell you today are coming from that. So from the importance of agentic systems to the criticality of human-in-the-loop design to the need for cloud-native observability stacks. So all of these aren't things that we've read and I'm sharing. These are actually lessons that we've learned the hard way together with our clients in the process of building, deploying, and scaling AI in production environments. So what you'll hear today is practitioner's knowledge, and I hope all of these learnings will save you some of the hard lessons that we've already paid for in experiences. So let me start with a question. I want you to sit with for a moment, right? So how many AI initiatives has your organization started in the last 2 years? And from all of those initiatives, how many are actually running in production today? These AI processes making real business decisions at scale, without you having to oversee or babysit these AI initiatives. So if your honest answer to this question is not many or none, then I can say that you're not alone. These are problems that many enterprises are facing. So we've seen companies spend on models, spend on compute, on consultants, enterprise subscriptions, and yet many of these companies never cross the line from experimentation or initiatives in experiment to those in actual production at scale. And the thing is that this is not a people problem. It is not a problem related to your AI budget. It is certainly not a problem related to the underlying technology. The problem is that of architecture. It is a problem related to methodology, and I'll be addressing a lot of these problems. So I'll be talking about these problems in two parts. First, how to build AI the right way and with the right methodology, and second, where is all of this going in the next 3 years, and what does this mean for you as a leader in terms of strategy? So let's get into it. Let's get into the first part, which is building the right things with the right methodology. So the first thing that I would like to address is a fundamental model shift, because I see the same misunderstanding everywhere, from early stage startups to large enterprises, large Fortune 500 companies. So most organizations today are treating AI like a smarter search engine, right? Where you give AI a prompt and it gives you a response. Maybe it's a use case where you're summarizing documents, where you're using AI to answer employee questions, or something as basic as drafting emails. So I'm not saying that these are not apt use cases. These are useful things, but they're not AI systems. All of these examples are AI features. And here is where the shift occurs that separates companies that are experimenting with AI from companies that are operating with AI, right? Here is where you can experience the move from LLMs to agentic systems, right? So an LLM, as most of us would know, is a component to AI systems. So LLMs are brilliant, capable, and completely passive models. So LLMs, they wait for a question. LLMs wait for a question and answer it. Whereas an agent, on the other hand, it takes actions. It makes decisions in sequence, and it keeps going. It keeps iterating until the job is done. You can think of it this way. An LLM is like hiring a brilliant consultant who can answer any questions that you put to them, whereas an agent is that same consultant, except that it also has access to your systems, like your calendar, your data, your existing workflows. Agents, however, don't just advise, they actually take action. And an agentic system, on the other hand, is what we're really talking about when we talk about enterprise AI. an agentic system is a coordinated network of agents, each with a bounded responsibility, and each one of these agents working together towards a unified common business outcome. So this shift from an LLM approach to the agentic system approach is a fundamental shift. Here we're not shifting from one model to another, or from one provider to another, but then we're shifting from a passive prompt response to an active goal-directed decision-making system. Now, once you accept that agents are the right building block, the next question is, how do you design these agents well? And we're seeing that here is where a lot of organizations are making the second mistake. They try to build one powerful agent to do everything, right? So they have a single agent with access to 50 tools and access to every system. And this almost never works. Not because these single agents aren't capable or powerful enough, but this is because simply because accountability disappears. When you have one agent that's doing everything, you have no idea of which step went wrong when something breaks, right? And why did it go wrong, and how to fix that problem, right? So the better design principle for agentic systems is one of multi-agent orchestration, where you break the entire workflow into stages and you assign each stage to a dedicated agent, with this dedicated agent having a narrow, well-defined responsibility, right? So one example could be where we have one agent that researches, the other agent that prepares a draft, the third agent that validates, and finally the fourth agent that acts, right? So here we have each agent bounded, observable, and finally replaceable as well. Let me give you a real example of what this multi-agent design principle looks like in practice. So we built an AI-powered call evaluation system for a client, and this client actually has a customer-facing business where they get hundreds of calls every day from their end customers, and these calls are coming in multiple languages. Now, they had a call evaluation process in place where the old process was entirely manual. Right? We had supervisors who were listening to a large sample of calls, scoring each one of the human agents, and then writing feedback for each one of those human agents. Now, this manual process was slow. It was very subjective, and it was inconsistent, right? The entire process was unreliable because of this dependency on manual evaluation of calls. And so we went in, we designed a 4-stage pipeline where there was a first agent that handled multilingual transcription. So this agent was converting audio into text accurately across multiple languages. Then we had a second agent that was analyzing these calls for tone, empathy, and performance against certain defined criteria. Right? Then there was a third agent that generates structured feedback. So this agent was actually citing specific examples from the calls that it was analyzing. And then we had a fourth component, which was the human review step. Now, this is where the team lead reviews the AI's output before it is sent to the agent as a feedback, right? So this last human checkpoint is very critical. Like over here in this entire agentic process, human in the loop is not a fallback, but it is an intentional design decision, right? Earlier in the summit, we spoke about an example where there was a CTO, which was a CTO who was talking about a deficit of trust amongst his team for an AI product that they built, and that deficit in trust was simply because there was no human in the loop before the final output was generated, right? So human in the loop is actually an intentional design decision. So in this case, we place the human checkpoint not in the beginning and not as an emergency override at the end, but as a value generating inflection point, right? So the human in the loop was added at the point where AI's output becomes a consequence for a real person, who in this case was the human agent getting feedback for the calls that they had handled, right? So yeah, it is because of this design with human in the loop that adoption of this agentic system was immediate. We had people trusting the system because the system was honest about what it was doing, right? And hence the human judgment with the human in the loop made a great impact. So a question for everyone: if you're working on an AI system right now, please share in the chat if your AI system has a human checkpoint. Right? Drop your experience about it. Are you adding a human checkpoint with a human in the loop in your system, or are you now thinking of implementing it? Great. I'll give you another example of a multi-agent system. This is one from a commercial real estate technology product that we're working on. So we worked with a leading commercial real estate technology platform that wanted to embed AI across their operations, and these operations were across property leases, property management, document management in their internal processes, tenant experience, work order processing, and so on. So the challenge here for this commercial real estate company wasn't in finding the right LLM for their AI processes. The challenge was actually in designing a system that could handle unstructured input across emails, PDFs, voice messages, forms, and then turn this unstructured input into structured, governed outputs that their end clients, who were enterprise clients, could trust. So here is where we built a multi-agent pipeline where we had one agent that was using NLP to extract terms from documents. So these were lease terms, these were terms around property management, etc. Right? So one agent which was using NLP for extracting terms. The other agent, the second agent, that was converting natural language queries. So these were queries like show me all the leases that are expiring in Q3, or show me all RFPs that mandate 20% or more open area, right? So we had the second agent that was converting natural language queries into precise SQL queries to be run against their database. And then we had a third layer of agent, which was grounding every AI response into governed enterprise data using a RAG architecture, right? So that we were able to ensure that the system never hallucinates a term that does not exist in the records, right? So we had these three agents that had bounded roles. They were working on governed data, and ultimately this resulted into zero hallucinations in production. So this is what a real agentic system looks like. It's not a chatbot, not a search bar with a language model behind it. It is a coordinated system of agents where each agent is accountable for a specific part of the value chain. Great. I now want to talk about something that as even Alka and Shreyant both mentioned, something that gets far little attention in leadership AI conversations, and this is the primary reason why AI systems fail in production, right? Now, this is the cloud-native stack that comprises of observability, drift control, LLM ops, right? So, as a company or as a team that is implementing agentic workflows, if you're able to get these three fundamentals in place and have them as a part of AI conversations within your team, the success rate of your AI initiatives would increase, right? Because I would admit that there are a large number of failed demos amongst enterprises that do not survive beyond the first month, and a big reason for that is lack of these three systems within the cloud-native stack that you would build for your AI products. So we've all heard of a model that performs beautifully in the first week. However, the model starts behaving differently beyond the first month, right? And why did this happen? We had Shreyant who talk about schema drift, right? Problems like these happen because there would have been changes in the data schema, right? The data distribution shifted and user behavior evolved, right? So, or probably the underlying model was updated by the provider, right? So having observability in place, drift control in place, and strong LLM ops in place ensures that the implementation of the AI system is strong. So any one of these three things, or all of them together, having any one of these missing from your system, or all of them together missing from your system, can actually cause your AI system to silently degrade. Great. So yeah, observability means that you can see in real time what every agent in your system is doing and why is it doing that specific task, right? With observability in place, every decision is logged, every output of your agentic system is traceable, right? With drift control, it means that you have mechanisms in place to detect your AI's behavior, whether it is drifting from its intended baseline, right? Drift control is mostly done by scoring the final output that you're getting, right? And you can, with drift control in place, you can respond to AI behaviors that are drifting before they can become an actual business problem. Now, LLM ops or ML ops or in the case of LLM-based system, LLM ops means your AI system is treated with the same engineering rigor as any other production software, right? You have version models, you have tested prompts, and you have staged deployments, and ultimately you have rollback capabilities. So a combination of all of these ensures that you have strong LLM ops in place. So at BigStep, we actually built an AI-powered financial analysis platform for a leading financial services firm where the system processes financial files. These are PDFs, spreadsheets, CSVs, and this financial analysis platform generates structured reports, dashboards, and supports conversational querying across investment data using a RAG architecture. And the reason why this system is still running strongly and reliably is not because the model that we used was extraordinary. The reason why the system is still running successfully many months down the line post deployment is because of the LLM ops layer underneath that provided validated extraction of templates, version prompts, output schema enforcement, and real-time compliance tracking. Right? All of this is what makes AI a product and not just a prototype. Now, a very important question that every CTO should be able to answer about their AI system are these three. Can I see what my AI system is doing in real time? Will I know if it starts behaving differently? Can I update or roll back safely? Now, if the answer to any of these questions is no, right, it means that you do not have a production system and you need to get that foundation in place. Great. Right now, let me tackle the question that I get asked very often in events like these. Which LLMs should we use? Should we use GPT-X, Claude, Gemini, or should we use something open source? And my honest answer to this question is that often the least consequential decision that you will make in your AI architecture is not the LLM selection, right? We're not saying that. I'm not saying that model selection does not matter. It does, but the obsession with which LLM to use is actually distracting leaders from the decisions that actually determine whether their AI system succeeds or fails. So, what actually matters? Is these four things that you're seeing here. The first is retrieval architecture. Are you using RAG? Are you using fine tuning, or are you using both? Right? How do you connect your AI to your data is more important than what model you use. Second important thing that actually determines success is memory and state management. Does your agent remember context across interactions? Can it build up knowledge of a user as the user starts interacting with your AI system? Can your system build context with your context around your workflow over time? Right. The third factor is tool use and API orchestration. Right. This means what systems can your agent actually interact with? The power of an agent is actually proportional to the quality of its tool set. And the fourth is cost at scale and ecosystem lock-in, right? What does your AI system cost when it's running 1 million transactions a month? And are you building on a foundation that you could migrate from if needed? So when we build AI products, we ensure that they are platform agnostic by design. We build on AWS Bedrock, Azure OpenAI, Google Gemini, Anthropic Claude, right? We choose the right tool for the right task. To share an example, we built a motor insurance policy verification agent. We built a system that handles outbound calls. It handles customer interaction over WhatsApp and SMS across thousands of policyholders. And here we chose a specific model stack because of its real-time audio performance and its cost profile at the call volume that our client needed. So we chose that stack not because it was famous, but we chose it because it made sense for the use case. So platform agnostic is not a cop-out. It is how you avoid betting your business on a single vendor's roadmap. So I would like to ask everyone a question. What's your primary LLM right now? Is it GPT? Is it Anthropic, Claude? Is it Gemini? Is it some open source model? Please drop into chat the model that you're using right now. All right, now let me shift gears. We've talked about how to build. Now let me talk about where is all this going. And I want to be concrete because the future of AI has become one of the most overused and underspecified phrases in business. So let me give you a 2026 to 2028 roadmap of how I see systems evolve from what we are building right now. So right now we're actually living through a transition from AI tools to AI workforces. in 2024, the conversations were about AI assistants, they were about copilots, chatbots, summarization tools. Then in 2025, forward-thinking companies started building their first real agentic systems. Companies were building agentic systems in workflow here. They were adding an automation there. Then in 2026, now the conversation is shifting again. Companies that were early movers are no longer talking about individual agents. These companies are talking about agent networks. They're talking about clusters of agents running across departments, handing work to each other and reporting outcomes to humans rather than asking for instructions. By 2027, I believe leading enterprises will have what we call an AI operating layer, a persistent network of agents handling the routine, structured, repeatable work of the business. So think of use cases like customer onboarding, invoice processing, compliance monitoring, sales lead qualification, right? So we'll have teams thinking of these in an agentic manner, not partially, but end to end. And then by 2028, the question will no longer be, do you use AI? The question will be, how many of your business processes run without a human initiating them? So the companies building that infrastructure now are actually 2 to 3 years ahead of their competition, and that gap is very hard to close. Let me push this vision of future. Let me push this further because the agents I've been describing so far are primarily text-based, with text in and text out, or texts leading to action. But the next generation of enterprise agents will be truly multimodal. And we've already started seeing this happening. Multimodal means an agent that can hear, see, read, and act, all of this in a single workflow. Let me give you 2 examples from the work that we've done. The first example is of a voice AI agent that we built for an insurance company. So here, customers can call in and the AI agent can handle the entire interaction through a natural audio to audio conversation. So here, customers do not have IVR menus. They do not have hold music. There are no forms, right? Customers can directly interact with this agent, buy a new policy, renew an existing one, initiate a claim. All of this entirely through a natural spoken conversation, right? And the agent can understand insurance-specific terminology. It can detect intent in real time and perform tool-based actions, right? Actions like looking up policies, processing requests, triggering workflows, all the while maintaining empathy and tone of the human interaction that the agent is expected to do, right? So this here is not a chatbot with a voice skin. This is actually a multimodal agent. The second example is of a motor insurance policy verification agent that we built, when a customer misses a call, the agent does not just log in and wait, right? The agent automatically follows up across voice calls, WhatsApp messages, and SMSs, right? So it's a true multi-channel agent. And the agent does this with intelligent retry logic, where it does about 6 attempts over 3 days, adjusting the outreach across these channels of voice, WhatsApp, and SMS, and timing based on the previous response patterns. So the crux is that voice, vision, document understanding, and action, all of this combining into a single agent workflow is where the next generation of enterprise AI lives. And this is not a 2028 thing. This is happening right now. Great. I want to spend a quick moment on what I think is the most strategically important idea in my webinar right now, which is the difference between AI-enabled organizations and AI-native organizations. So an AI-enabled organization takes its existing processes and adds AI into them. It adds an AI summarization tool, for example, to its CRM. It adds an AI assistant to its customer support team. However, the processes are the same, right? The org chart is the same, but AI is just being used as a tool, right? Now, the productivity gains from this approach are real. They're typically 10 to 30% improvements in specific tasks. So these are all meaningful and worth doing. However, an AI native organization does something fundamentally different. It redesigns its process around AI capabilities, asking not how do we add AI to what we already do, but instead asking that if we were building this business from scratch today, knowing what AI can do, how would we design this, right? So the productivity gains from this second approach, which is AI native in nature, are not incremental. These productivity gains are structural, and the business impact really reflects it. For example, one of our clients started small. They started with a single AI workflow that involved automating work order creation from unstructured emails in a property management platform. So this worked amazingly well, but then they expanded this AI adoption to use cases like lease proposal generation, tenant service request processing, conversational data querying across multiple siloed enterprise systems. And at some point, AI stopped being just a tool to something that acted as a layer that their operations ran into, right? So the question that I want to leave every leader in this room today with is, are you retrofitting AI into your existing org chart? as a tool, or are you redesigning your org chart around AI capabilities from ground up? Great. In the interest of time, I will skip going deep into this, but then regulations are catching up fast with AI adoption, and this is something that all of us should emphasize upon when it comes to our AI adoption journeys. So what this essentially means is that AI systems built without audit trails or explainability layers and human oversight architecture are actually accumulating compliance debt. So every week that you build without having audit trails in place or explainability layers in place, right, every week is actually increasing that compliance debt. So the good news is that responsible AI design and high performance AI design, they are engineering practices that make AI trustworthy, right? So things like structured logging, decision traceability, bounded agent scope, human in the loop design that we covered earlier, they're all practices that make AI reliable and maintainable in production and ensure that you're building an AI system that conforms to all the regulations. So companies that build AI responsibly now will not have to rebuild for compliance later. And this is a real competitive advantage. Great. So we'll skip through this. So 2026 is actually a year where we believe companies will be building a strong AI. Companies that have not reached maturity in their AI journey will build foundations with discipline. 2027 is when you will scale and connect, and 2028 is when we will start seeing truly autonomous operations. Great. So let me leave you with the idea that I want you to carry out of this session today. AI is no longer a technology decision. It is actually a business architecture decision. So the question is not which model to use or which AI vendor to sign with, or whether to use GenAI or traditional ML. The question is, what kind of organization do you want to become in 2028? And are you willing to make the architectural decisions today that will get you there? So build agentic systems and not AI features, designed for human in the loop, not as an afterthought, but as a deliberate choice about where human judgment belongs. Invest in things like observability, drift identification, MLOps from day one. Choose your stack with scale and independence in mind, and start the transition from an AI-enabled organization to an AI-native organization intentionally, strategically, right now. Great. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I know that all of you would be having questions. Please drop your questions in the chat right now. We'll take them up really soon. So whether your question is about an architectural challenge that you're facing, your AI roadmap, or something that you want to push back on, we'll answer all of them. Great. All right. I would now like to hand over to our last speaker for today, Kriti.
Thank you, Vidit.
Over to you, Kriti.
Yeah. Let me know once you will be able to see my presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, Kriti, it's visible.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. I'm Kriti Sinha, and today I want to cut through the noise around Agentic AI. We talked a lot of, we heard it from Alka and Vidit, and we talked on that, right? So now we will spend our time for obsessing over the brain, the LLM, but we forget the one thing actually controls whether any of this work today we are doing will be successful or not, right? Because these works depends on the data. The core is the data. So today we are going to talk about a mindset shift every enterprise need to make. Data first, agent second. Okay, so let me move to the next one. Yeah. The reality in most enterprise is signal fragmentation. We are trying to build 21st century agents on top of the data scattered across multiple different tools, sources, legacy PDFs, and messy emails, right? Even agents can't see the full picture of trust, the sources. It can't reason. This is why 60 to 70% of AI pilots never make it to production. It's data quality crisis, not a modeling issue. For the leadership and engineers here, this fragmentation creates a silo tax. Your teams or our teams spends weeks manually cleaning the data for every single initiative. Beyond the delay, there is a massive regulatory risk. If an agent makes a decision based on unverified or siloed data, the liability falls on the organization. We need a single source of truth for AI solution. And if the agent makes a decision based on unverified and siloed data, right? What if we are moving towards, let's talk about the chatbots, LLMs, and all, right? how we did the evaluation actually. We started with chatbot, right? Fixed pre-programmed responses, then moved to LLM copilots. A copilot's example of that. Great for drafting text. We are using Copilot, which is very good for drafting text with a human in the driver's seat. Now we are entering into the era of agentic system. These don't just talk; they observe, decide, and act anonymously. This shift from talking to doing is what changes our data requirements. In the LLM era, right? We are in the LLM era, and data was largely used for training and fine-tuning. It was static, right? In the agentic era, which we are moving towards, the data is used for real-time tool calling and reasoning. Agents need a unified data layer that serves as a RAG-ready substrate. It's no longer just about having the information. It's about making that information structured and agent readable in real time. When we talk about the architecture, right? To build a high-performing agent, we need to provide 3 types of memory. Most teams nowadays we are seeing day and night that many teams, which they starts and provides only the semantic memory, generates facts via RAG. But a true enterprise agent needs episodic memory to remember past user interaction and procedural memory to know how to use your specific companies or tools or workflows or your business. Without all 3, the agent essentially just a goldfish brain, right? When we talk about building real enterprise grade agent, memory is the biggest missing piece. Most teams only give their agent semantic memory, right? As we just talked. But that is not just basically that fact and documents retrievers through RAG, right? It's just a basic one. But for getting that to build agents, there that are actually useful in that the real world, inside real enterprise, we must go beyond RAG and give them all 3 kind of memory. What does failure look like? Hallucination chain, where one missed data point leads to a sequence of invented facts. How many of you ever experienced while searching on Copilot, on ChatGPT, multiple thread, right? It lost the previous route from where you started, right? Like multiple occurrence, if you are asking a question one after other, it is forgetting the base question, major point, and it is starting from the starts. Means complex conversation if you are doing, it is losing the thread of that. When we look across the enterprise, the failure patterns in agentic AI are surprisingly consistent, right? We see hallucination not because the model is creative, right? But because retrieval breaks. When the agent can find the right, when agent cannot find the right answer, it acts to give similar answer, not the actual answer. It acts to provide that answer, right? We encountered like context window collapse. After a handful of turns, the agent loses track of what was said earlier, right? And forgets the communication thread. And the third, we see the tool misuse. The agent calling the wrong APIs, passing malinformed payloads, or triggering workloads incorrectly. This is happening, and the finally drift over time as data changes. The agent's behavior shifts. If no monitoring or governance in place, issues surface. Behavior change, the data evolves. Okay, so fail because the foundation around the model is missing. Build that the sections or the foundation model, right? Then we need to create that all these 4 sections to overcome from, like hallucination, context windows collapse. Many of you experience. If you have experienced it, you can ping in chat that you face this kind of while using any of the AI. When we think about the RAG, agents and fine-tuning, the key is choosing the right tool for the right job. RAG gives us ground. Factual. The key message I can say here that most enterprise user case don't need the heavy fine-tuning. They need a strong RAG foundation, right? And the agentic workflows. Think of the cost in respect of the cost benefit ladder. RAG is the low cost entry for the FAQs, like frequently asked questions or the policies kind of use cases. Agents are your medium cost solution for actual workflows like underwriting, right? And the fine tuning is the highest cost and should be your last resort. Most of the value you will deliver in the middle of the agent here. This is the middleware, middle level you can say, right? Building the unified data layer. So how do we build it? We move through an end-to-end pipeline from model design to automated extraction and validation, right? We use a modern stack like GPT-5 or any open AI for reasoning, Llama Pass for complex PDFs, and Quadrant for vector storage. But even with these 90% accuracy, we keep a human in loop. We must to keep the human in loop for that final critical validation and the decision, right? What is AI ready? Right? It's a data that is structured for machine consumption, not just human reading. It must be queryable. Means when we try to fetch the data, it should be people should write the query and it should return the relevant data, trusted and crucial data. Maintain an audit trail as well. So once we get the result, we can also go back to the root of the data. If an agent performs a transaction, we must be able to track it back to the exact validated data point and that triggered it. Unified data layer. Proof points we have, what we can consider it. This is not the theory, right? Because we have already seen platform achieved a 75% reduction in manual data entry, right? In diagnostic, we have used AI to draft radiology reports and parse resumes with a 90% accuracy. Nowadays, every company is using resume parser, which is parsing your resume, right? And that is giving 90% accuracy. The common thread in these success, they all started with the unified data layer. Before the data agent was ever deployed. Real-time versus batch pipelines. The old model of the batch ETL overnight is dead for agentic system, right? A 24-hour lag makes an agent useless. When we say that it is a real-time and we are giving if it is 24-hour-old data, that doesn't make it a real-time operations. We are moving towards event-driven to sub-second latency system. To handle the final 30% of the workflow, the part where the real work happens, the agent need to know what is happening right now. So real time, if data is you are passing real, then only it will return the real time latency and that operation and the insights from that or the decision making points. Why real time matters for agent? Real time data is what separate a good agent from a truly usable one. Like insurance agent can't rely on yesterday snapshot. They need live data, right? If the data is not real time, the agent can't be real time. It's a business impact, drops instantly. Self-healing data pipeline. This is our main focus should be, right? We are now building self-healing pipelines. We have health monitoring agent that checks for quality and drift, right? If a schema change, an auto remediation agent tries to fix it, right? This allows us to resolve 90% of data without even waking up a data engineering team. It self-healing pipelines, making it self-heal and self-fix that data issues. Self-healing data pipeline, what's the vision behind that? The vision here is the data ops. Imagine a system where data pipeline are as smart as the agents they feed. In this model, 90% of issues are auto-resolved, right? Without human intervention. So the system is healthy without constant monitoring. Human in the loop where human must be. Because in today's, where we are today, right? Earlier, we were getting the insights from the data we were feeding it. Now, we are also making it to take the decision. But the final checkpoint, we always prefer to give for human, where it's a very crucial, right? So human, we always should prefer, and we are preferring actually, we are giving final checkpoint and authentication by the human in some of the crucial cases. Like as we automate, we must be intentional about where humans stay, agent do the 70 to 80% heavy tasks, right? But the human remains reviewer, approver, and exception handler, because exceptions are already there. It's still there, and our system is not giving 100% accuracy, 70 to 80% only. So for remaining exception handling, we need human must stay there. In high stakes sectors like healthcare, insurance, and finance, right? Human in the loop is a legal and ethical requirement. We have seen 80% reduction in wait time because the AI handles the draft, but the final call is with the human only. Looking ahead for 2028, right? The organization that scale 3 to 5 times faster will be those that treat data as a first-class citizen, right? We are moving toward a world of fully automation data ops. Your roadmap starts now. Build unified layer in 2026, 27 will be streaming, and the 2028 you can run autonomously. What to do Monday morning? How many of you think on Monday what to do or why this Monday comes? So from that point, if you're working with the data or the data science agentic solution and planning for that RAG base, the first thing on Monday for you should be audit your data readiness, right? Don't start with the agent, start with the silos. Build your unified data layer first. Prioritize RAG plus agents over fine tuning, and always design with the human in the loop from day one. When we talk about the architecture alone doesn't scale, why we say that, right? Because architecture is the foundation, but scaling requires cloud native infrastructure and rigorous governance. About governance and all, Alka already talked a lot, right? So I'm giving back to Vidit for next point and moving forward to the session. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Kriti. We got a lot of questions in the chat, and I can see that myself and Alka have answered most of those questions. If there are any questions that are remaining to be answered, please drop them in the chat right now. We can see the ones that have been posted already so far have been answered. If you have any more questions, please post them in the chat right now before we wrap up the summit. Great. Great. Thank you, everyone. All of you who joined us on LinkedIn, YouTube, as well as Zoom. Thank you for attending the summit. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM us on any of these channels. LinkedIn, you could even, if you have any questions for BigStep, you could send them at info@bigsteptech.com. And thank you especially to Shreyant, Kriti, and Alka for their sessions and providing your leadership and knowledge to this summit. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day, a good evening, based on what part of the world you're from.
Thank you.
Bye.